Hello, welcome to a new lecture. My name is JC Paz, and in this fifth part of the MySQL Server and Tools series we are reviewing the CRUD operations using MySQL shell directly with tables. The operations will be performed using methods from session, schema, and table classes of the XDev API. We will choose one table from the test schema and perform several operations. XDev API supports a number of modern practices to make working with CRUD operations easier and to fit naturally into modern development environments. This lecture shows how to use special methods to CRUD tables. Let's open MySQL shell Python mode and connect to the localhost server with user Gennaro at port 33060. After connecting, an instance of MySQLX is available, and we can use the session method to open schema test and store it in MySchema. Now that we have this new object, we can use the method getTable to access friends that will be stored in MyTable variable. For every one of the scripts that we will cover in this lecture, these two variables will be used. But before we continue with the scripts, let's use MySQL Workbench so we can see the schemas and tables available inside them. As you can see from Server Janus, we have one schema named Test, and if we open it, we will have access to the table friends. We can check the structure of this table in case that we want to replicate it. If we choose it, we can display all the records and the fields that build every one of them. Now if we close the workbench and open the Add Friends .py script with Notepad++, we will see the code that we need to run to append more records to the table. This script uses four parameters: name, anniversary, gender, and phone that we need to feed outside the script in such a way that calling the script, it uses the parameters to create a new record. After closing the editor and feeding the parameters, we can insert Alicia, calling add_friend. And feeding the parameters and calling add_friend again, we can insert Francis. Opening the workbench one more time and running the query select asterisk from friends, we can see the last two new records. There is another script to search for a record when we feed the parameter name with a value. Let's open it with Notepad++. This script selects all the records where name contains the value provided as a parameter and displays all the fields. Now if name contains Alicia and call the search friend script, we see all the fields for the record. And if we do the same thing for name Francis, we can see the information associated. We can display all the records from the table. Let's open the script list_friends.py with Notepad. As you can see, we select all the records from the table and display them. After closing the editor, let's run the script. What we can see is a list of 9 records with all its fields. Another CRUD operation deals with the modification of record fields. Let's open the script update_friend.py. Here we update with a new phone value the record that corresponds to a given name provided as a parameter. Let's change Alicia's phone number, providing as a parameter the new phone, and running the script. One record was updated. And now if we run the script list_friends.py, we will see all the records, including the Alicia's with new phone number. The last script is delete_friend.py. That let us delete a record in the table having a name equal to a given parameter. Providing the value for name as Alicia and running the script deletes one record. You can see that listing the complete set of friends, record 8 was deleted and Alicia is no longer in the dataset. As you can see, we have reviewed all CRUD operations using tables in a very simple way. You can build more complex queries to find, to update, display, or delete records. You have the minimum number of commands to succeed in these tasks. We have reached the end of this lecture. Please don't forget to give a like and subscribe so I can continue doing lectures like this. Thank you and see you in the next.